So I'm in Ukraine right now on one of my humanitarian missions, and we do these all over the world, and we finally had a little break in the schedule. And being here and seeing the level of turmoil that people are in, seeing people go with so much lack or hardship, and also receive a lot of this humanitarian aid with incredible gratitude, it just makes me really reflective on my own childhood and my upbringing and how I got to where I am today. And I thought today I would share a video with you on what I learned from growing up poor, because many beautiful lessons came from that. And if you feel like you grew up poor, you might be able to relate and then maybe see a little bit this cosmic bridge of how do you go break the chains from being poor to so much more. One shot, now the future is yours. Go! So for just a moment, reflect on your own childhood, because you're making one of two choices. You're either embracing what your parents taught you about money, or you feel like you're going in a very different direction. Evaluate where you're at today and just ask, are you saving money? Are you spending it recklessly? Or have you found a middle ground where financially you can take yourself to places your family never could? Is there some future out there where dreams actually come true because you learn the balance in the game of money, you learn the rules of making money, you learn how to become an investor? That's why a lot of people subscribe to my channel. And if you're not, let's take a deep dive look at what I learned in my childhood, maybe what you learned from yours, and then how you become the transitional character that can break cycles and become so much more. Family matters. We learn a lot from our family growing up. Some lessons are clearly taught, like how to cook, clean, or treat other people with respect. However, other important habits are often passed to us without anyone really consciously understanding what those are. For example, how we feel about money. This is one of those unconscious patterns, like it was for me. My father was a German immigrant. He came to this country, met my mom, had 9 kids. So there was always this energy of, is there enough resource to go around? And my parents did the best they could to provide a really great life for us. But because they fought a lot about money, I heard the words credit card debt a lot, or refinance the house to pay off credit card debts. For some reason, there was this notion of debt is bad, and we're always in debt, and then we're always needing to figure out how to get out of debt. And meanwhile, we're just fighting about the fact that there's not enough. Waking up this morning in Ukraine, having done medevacs, having taken the internally displaced, the refugees, supplying them with food and water and much needed resources, or delivering, new mother care kits to moms in the hospital. Doing this work, it's very family centric. I'm here in a park this morning surrounded by families, and yet the war front is less than 100 miles away here from where I sit right now. I think the reason why I want to talk about money and families and how we grew up, because money's the one thing that touches everything. It's the universal resource. And if you learn its rules, you can elevate yourself and do some beautiful things. I'm not here alone on my own dollar. I actually have a lot of donors, some of which are even on this trip. We've pooled our money together to provide these life-saving resources. But who they are for at the end of the day is families. I'm partially here in Ukraine able to do this service work because I became a very successful entrepreneur. I learned how to make money. I learned the rules of business. But that isn't exactly what my upbringing looked like. In the Krohn household, entrepreneur was kind of considered a bad word. And that's because my dad was self-employed and our family income was frequently not enough to make ends meet. My dad always tried to work harder in the face of adversity, but sometimes it pays to take a step back and change direction instead of just going harder. I got to the point where I just said, I don't think I'm going to make the kind of money that I want in life if all I do is go to college for an education that is career-based. I need to figure out how to make more money than a career can provide. And so I actually turned to entrepreneurship. And by the time I graduated college, I had 25 houses. They were making me a 6-figure residual income. And that was the beginning of feeling a level of independence, a level of freedom where I could really ask the tougher questions of, what do I want to do with my life? But for that to happen, you may need to challenge what you were taught about the game of money and be that transitional character to see if there's a better way for you. The drawbacks of hard work. We've all heard the maxim, work smarter, not harder. What does that actually mean? In terms of earning potential, it means focusing on tasks that earn you more dollars per hour instead of simply working more hours. If you're working in any kind of job where you're trading time for money, that world will trap you and own you your entire life because it's not enough leverage. The more money you earn from your time, the faster you can save up to invest in assets that will generate wealth for you without needing to put in hours at a job anymore. Real estate's an example that did that for me. I saved up the little money I had and I used it as a 3% down payment on a primary residence that I bought deeply below market, just like you can do today. And with a very small down payment, I controlled an asset with a lot of equity that a year later, that equity would buy my next asset. It was as if I had saved a lot more money than I actually had because now my money was working for me. And I've also been able to do the exact same thing through business, right? I buy businesses that don't own my life. I don't operate them. What they do is they make me money. It's putting my money to work. And this was one of the big things that my wife nor I got from our childhoods. It was learning that what the wealthy are doing is they're not just being financially responsible with money by saving it. They're saving it so they can put it to work like they were once put to work. And your path to financial freedom ultimately will come down to this lesson of leverage, which is you can't just be worked your entire life. That's like your boss pimping you out for your brain or for your hands or for what you can do for 40, 50, 60 hours a week for a 9-to-5 paycheck or whatever it is. You've got to find a way to break that by saving money that you can invest, because when your money works for you, you get to decide how long you get in that game. I haven't stopped the game. I keep making more of my money work for me because I'm not interested in just living a good life. I pile drive that into my foundation with my wife because now we want to help other people live a good life. It started with me, and then I wanted something for my kids, but now I want something for the innocent victims and the strangers of the world. And if you're curious about that, there's a link in the bio below where you can learn about working more hand in hand with me, because my mission in life is to help you reach your potential. And the better you are with money, the more you can help yourself, but then the more you can help other people too. Now, I also learned a lot of really valuable lessons from my wife's upbringing because they did it really opposite than my parents. My wife's family had a different but equally opposite relationship with money. Over the course of many years, they had saved enough to become millionaires, but was it at the cost of their own quality of life or memory making? Extreme saving can seem like a virtue, but it can trap you in a scarcity mindset, which is the belief that the world is a zero-sum game and there isn't enough to go around for everybody. And until you graduate to being a serious investor, those are your really two big options in life. You're either a little bit like my parents, maybe fiscally irresponsible or just not knowing how to budget and manage money very well and maybe spend more than you have, or you're a little bit like my wife's parents where they will tell you they always had money because they never spent money. Me being here in Ukraine is a byproduct of my real estate investing over the years. It's a byproduct of my ownership of business. It's a byproduct of the fact that I've learned how to own hundreds of businesses without giving my life away. And if you value that, and if you want more of those options in your life, then you're going to have to graduate from either being the hard saving penny pincher or the person that maybe spends a little bit too quickly before the money is set aside for investing, because as my money works for me and accumulates successfully, it will buy not just my time back, but other options in life for my lifestyle, for my dreams, and also for the way that I want to be a philanthropist. A different path. You can still be grateful for all the good things that your family taught you while still breaking any habits that you learned from them while growing up. That being said, it can be difficult to make changes that you want to see in your life without help. Here's my invitation. Don't reinvent the wheel. Find a mentor to help you build the life that you want. This is the ultimate hack. In fact, this is what has helped me build the very life that I have today. I didn't do it alone, and I didn't do it alone by what I knew. I was surrounding myself with mentors, really smart, intelligent people, and I partnered with them, and I did deals with them. And that has built me more wealth than anything I could have ever done on my own. Just like being here in Ukraine, the giving that I'm doing isn't just my donations. It's the donation of a lot of other entrepreneurs that care about making a difference in the world, changing lives, saving lives like we're doing here. If you have dreams unrealized and you feel like you're off track, but that you'd really like to see them come true, I'm going to tell you the path is not going to be by saving pennies alone in a 401k or IRA. It's not going to be by obviously being just reckless with making memories today, as wonderful as that is. If you want to create the biggest and the best and the most wonderful memories, here's my invitation. Partner with me in real estate. Let me show you my $2 billion track record. Let me show you what I've done with hundreds of partners all over the world. If you click the link below, I'll share with you what partnership looks like. And if you've got money sitting in a dusty 401k, IRA, equity in a home, savings, and you know you're not putting it to work, click the link and let me show you what we can do together. Hey, thank you for joining me on today's video. Definitely different and more of a deeper insight into who I am as a human being, and I hope that worked for you. Listen, the internet is convinced that if you want to have it all in your most brilliant financial life, you're going to want to watch this video right here. So continue the journey with me. Click this video, and I'll see you right there.